Hello Bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you the Guilty Reader book tag. I wasn't tagged to do this by anybody, but I've been seeing this tag go around and I thought it'd be fun to do it. Although I have to say my answers are probably a little on the boring side. This tag was originally created by Tammy from Read Like Wildfire. I have such a hard time saying her channel name. I will link her channel and the original tag down below. Question number 1 is, have you ever re-gifted a book that you've been given? And I have to say that I don't think I've done this. Like many other people have said for this question, I probably have unhauled books that I've been given, but I don't think I've ever re-gifted it. So no. Second question is, have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? I honestly don't think I've done this either. A lot of people for this question have said that they've definitely done it for like school books, and while I don't think I read every single book I've been assigned for school, I don't think I've ever like told my teacher, yes, I read this whole thing. Like I don't think they've ever asked me, if you know what I mean. I mean, if that counts, then yeah, sure, maybe I, was supposed to read a book for school and I didn't, but if one of my friends asked me, hey, did you read this book for class? I would be honest with them and say, no, I didn't. I just skimmed it, or I checked out the cliff notes or whatever. So I don't think I've actually like really lied to anybody about a book to say that I've read it. Pretty sure I haven't. I don't know. Question number 3, have you ever borrowed a book and failed to return it? This one I do have some guilt about. So yes, the answer is yes. I know that there was a library book that I borrowed from a library when I was in grad school, and it was actually a cookbook, so not even like a book that I would just like sit down and read, but I borrowed a cookbook and I had put it in my backpack, and for some reason when I moved away from grad school, I forgot it was in there and I took it with me. I ended up having to pay for it, so at least I did pay for it. I paid my library fine and bought the book from them, I guess. So now I get to keep it forever, not that I'm really interested in keeping this cookbook forever. I have another book right now that a friend of mine let me borrow when I lived in California, and I have since moved away and I brought the book with me. I still intend to read it and I still intend to return it. But as of this moment in time, I have borrowed it and I have not returned it. The next question is, have you ever read a series out of order? And the answer to this is hell no, I haven't. I am such a stickler for reading things in order. I guess the only exception to this might be like if there's a series, I'm kind of thinking about the Chronicles of Narnia series, where like who knows what the real order is? Is it the chronological order of like when the story takes place, or is it the chronological order of when things were published? Maybe a series that is questionable like that, I might have chosen to read it a certain way. I don't even know which way I chose to read that series because I was a kid when I read it. But I remember being very confused because I found like conflicting answers on what was the correct order to read things. But I always look up the order of the series before I start reading them, and I pretty much read them in order. I guess maybe an exception to this might be like novellas. I might not always read a novella when it's supposed to like take place in between certain books, but I don't feel like that really counts as not reading a series in order. The next question is, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? And the answer is, I don't think so. Not that I remember, and obviously if I did, it wasn't a big enough deal that I would remember it now. But I have never intentionally spoiled something for someone, at least not book series. I will say, I did spoil Star Wars for my younger sister. She was watching it with us a couple years ago, I think right before the Rogue movie was coming out. She'd never seen it before, and I spoiled something kind of important because I thought she already knew, but she didn't. And as much as I really want to say it in this video because I don't feel like it should be a spoiler anymore because it's been out for so long, but I spoiled it for her, so I'm not going to say what it is. If you want to know what it is, leave a question down in the comments and I'll let you know what I spoiled for my sister when it comes to Star Wars. But that doesn't count for this question because those are movies and not books. So no, I don't believe I have ever spoiled a book for someone. Definitely not on purpose. The next question is, have you ever doggy-eared a book? And I don't know. I mean, definitely not in my recent adulthood. I definitely don't doggy-ear books. I might have when I was a child, but I don't remember ever really doing that. I'm also the kind of person who will use anything for a bookmark, just like a random piece of paper that's like a piece of mail, or I'll tear out something from my notebook and stick it in, or I've even used a hair tie. Like I will use anything random laying around as a a bookmark over dog-earing a book. So I'm gonna go with no for that one. The next question is, have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you actually do? And I've been thinking about this, and I don't think so. I mean, I'm a fairly honest person. I'm not very like ashamed of books. I feel like if someone asked me if I own 50 Shades of Grey, that I might be tempted to say no, but it was one of those Amazon deal of the day things at one point, and I did buy it, tried to read it, didn't finish it because I didn't like it. But if someone asked me, I don't think I would even lie about that. I would just tell them what I just told you. It was really cheap one day and I thought I'd give it a shot and I didn't like it. So I'm gonna go with no. I've never lied and told someone that I didn't own a book when I really did, because I can't think of a situation where I would actually do that. So the next question is, have you ever told someone you haven't read a book but you actually have? And no, I can't think of any time that I've done this. Yeah, I can't think of any books that I would do that for. Like I said, maybe 50 Shades of Grey, but I would just tell them what I told you guys. The next question is, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? And the answer is hell no. I am one of those people who will read everything. Prologues, epilogues. I know some people have said that they skipped the little fan fiction parts of like Fangirl. Nope, I read all of that. I mean, maybe I might have skim read things at some point, but I very rarely skim read. I can't remember the last time I even did that. I usually read everything. So the answer is no. And the last question of this tag is, have you ever badmouthed a book that you actually like? And the answer again is no. I don't think so. I have definitely downplayed how much I liked a book if someone was being negative about it. And what comes to mind right now is Twilight. Like, I love Twilight. I read it in my early 20s. I devoured those books. I loved them so much. And every once in a while, you know, people will talk about how terrible Twilight is. To those people, I might not be like, no, I really love Twilight, because I can see where they're coming from. It definitely has some problematic aspects to it. I'm actually terrified to reread Twilight because I'm afraid I'm gonna hate it, but I loved it when I read it, and so I refuse to reread it. I don't want to shatter the fond memories of that book that I have, but I definitely understand the problematic aspects that people see in it. So when people talk about how much they don't like it, I don't argue with them and tell them how much I loved it, but I also wouldn't say, no, I hated it when I really loved it, because I loved it. I don't want to lie about that, you know? I can't think of any other books that I would badmouth even though I like them. I would probably just be honest with them and tell them why I liked it, but still like be understanding of why they might not like it. Okay, so that was the Guilty Reader tag. I hope you enjoyed my answers to those questions. I know that I'm probably kind of boring when it comes to being a guilty reader, because apparently I'm not really all that much of a guilty reader. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more bookish content. I post a bookish video every week. If you guys have any other tags that you want to see me do, let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for more video ideas and tags to do. So if there's anything in particular that you want to hear my opinions on, let me know. That's all I have for now, so until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye! Tag was originally created by Chammy from Read Like Wildfire, by Chammy from Read Like Wildfire, by Chammy from Read by Wild. I cannot say her name, but they skipped like the but I very rarely skim. I post a video once a week. I post a bookish video every week I post a bookish video every week. Bye.